Hello, my dear audience. I welcome you to Mythopedia, where knowledge meets entertainment. As we know, before beginning any auspicious work, we worship Lord Ganesha. So, as a tribute to that, I will be narrating you the story of Lord Ganesha as the first video of my channel. The five primary gods mentioned in our Hindu scriptures are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Durga, and Ganesh. Of these five, Ganesh is regarded as the most revered. Without Ganesh Puja, no Hindu family's auspicious endeavors are complete, and the reason he became the first to be worshipped has a fascinating backstory. This entire incident took place on Mount Kailash, where Mother Parvati and Lord Shankar reside. One day, Goddess Parvati was preparing to take a bath when she thought of asking someone to guard the palace. When she went out, she met Nandi. Goddess said to Nandi, "Nandi, I am going inside the palace to take a bath. Do not let anyone enter the palace until I give permission." And Nandi replied, "You go without worry, goddess. I will not let anyone enter the palace." Hearing this, Goddess Gauri went inside the palace to take a bath. Nandi stood at ease in front of the palace entrance as soon as she had gone. However, Nandi eventually noticed some noises coming from that silent mountain. First, he heard footsteps, and then he heard someone playing the damru. Nandi realized that this individual was actually Lord Shiva Shankar, his master. When Nandi thought of Lord Shiva, he became frightened and began to consider how he would prevent his own master from entering into his own palace, knowing that if he failed to do so, the mother would become furious. However, Lord Shiva had already entered the palace before Nandi could come up with a solution. Nandi became frightened at this point and fled before anyone could apprehend him. As Nandi had predicted, Parvati became enraged and ashamed upon witnessing Lord Shankar arrive at such an inconvenient hour, and she rose and departed. Parvati narrated the entire incident to her friends Jaya and Vijaya. They said, "Whatever Nandi did was wrong, but what could he do?" They remarked. "Since he is devoted to his master, he would not have dared to oppose him. Likewise, Bhringi and other Ganas of Lord Shiva will only obey his commands. Our own Ganas are non-existent. O friend, I advise you to make such a Gana who exclusively obeys your commands." Mother Gauri liked this notion and thought, "I want a Gana who is intelligent and courageous and who only follows my orders. I will create such a Gana myself." After coming to this great conclusion, Mother Gauri began using the sandalwood paste on her body to create a statue. The statue gradually began to resemble a child. Parvati continued to gaze admiringly at the statue. Gauri was growing increasingly fond of that statue as it assumed the shape of a kid. The maternal love within her began to stir for that child, and when the statue was finished, Parvati forgot everything after seeing that cute little child except for the feeling that this child was made from her and her only. Mother kept looking at the statue she had picked up and kept in a corner, wishing it would come to life. The child then came to life when Mother miraculously blew life into it. Parvati forgot why she made this child since she was so joyful. She was enthralled with her creation. Then Ganesha responded, "What can I do for you, Mother? I am willing to do anything for you." As she heard this, Parvati recalled the reason behind her creation of this Gana. She told Ganesh, "Son, I have no one here except you. So listen, you become my gatekeeper from today. Do not let anyone enter my palace without my permission." Mother Parvati created a staff and gave it to Ganesh after saying this. From that day forward, Ganesh began guarding Parvati's palace. One day, just like every other day, while Ganesha was watching over the palace, Ma Parvati had gone to take a bath with her friends when Lord Shiva unexpectedly appeared. Ganeshji then stopped him without identifying him, saying, "O Lord, you cannot enter the palace. Mother Parvati is taking a bath. Only when she is clothed can I go inside and take permission about you. So please either stay here or take the trouble of coming again. Ganesha put his staff forward to halt Lord Shankar after saying this. When Lord Shiva saw this, he became enraged and yelled, "You don't realize who I am, do you? Get out of here so I can enter." Shiva pushed aside Ganesha after saying this and attempted to enter the palace. But Ganesha stopped him by striking him with his staff. "Child, you seem to be a fool. You don't know that I am Parvati's husband Shiv Shankar and the Lord of the Three Worlds," remarked Shiva, who became quite enraged after being struck by the staff. "Who are you to prohibit me from coming to my own house?" After saying this, Lord Shankar began to move forward once again, but this time the mother devotee Ganesha struck Lord Shiva in the back with his staff. He became very enraged at this point and raised his trident to strike Ganesha, but he went back with the thought, "As the Lord of the entire universe, it would not be right to punish such a small child, but it would be a very pointless act. I will send my Ganas to counsel him." Despite leaving the palace, Lord Shiva was resolved to discipline this kid. "Nandi, Bhringi, both of you go to the palace gate with my army of Ganas," he said, summoning his Ganas. "A boy, posing as Parvati's son, is waiting at the palace's gate, preventing me from entering my own house. Tell him to stop being so stubborn and get him out of there. Go!" As directed by Lord Shiva, all of the Shiva Ganas arrived at the palace's gate and began addressing Ganesha, asking, "Child, who are you? Why are you here? You have no idea how angry Lord Shankar is. So leave if you wish to survive. It is in your best interest that you listen to the great Almighty Lord Shiva." Ganesha replied, "Who are you, and why have you come here suddenly? Leave this place and let me do my job." All of the Ganas began to laugh at this and exclaimed, "Son, we are Shiva's magnificent Ganas. He gave us the order to come here and get you to leave, or else you will be put to death." However, Ganesha remained resolute despite this. When the Ganas saw this, they immediately went to Shiva. Parvati requested her friend to go outside and investigate the source of the loud noise after she heard it all. Her friend went outside and noticed that all of the Shiva Ganas were being overpowered by Ganesha alone. Mother Gauri was informed of this by her friend. Mother remarks, "This time Lord Shiva and his followers have gone beyond all bounds." After hearing the entire episode, "They want to enter the palace instantaneously? Can't they wait for a little while? It is useless to make a compassionate plea to them. Tell my son to keep them out of the house." The friend then went outside to the palace's gate and informed Ganesha, saying, "Son, it is your mother's orders that you should not let them enter the house." "Shame on you all!" exclaimed Lord Shankar. "You could not stop a boy from being stubborn? If you don't defeat the boy, everyone will believe that Shiva is subdued by his wife. Even if it means using force, go and remove that boy from there, because it appears like he wants to die. Don't just stand there like cowards. Go!" All of the Ganas went to speak with Ganesh after Lord Shiva rebukes them. The Shiva Ganas addressed Ganesha, saying, "Boy, whoever you are, move from here, otherwise you will have to die. We consider you as our own. That is why we are explaining you the optics of the situation." "I am following my dharma, you follow yours," replied Ganesha, and a war broke out between Ganesha and the Shiva Ganas. With his staff going left and right, Ganesha was thrashing all of the Shiva Ganas. One person had a broken leg, another with a fractured head, one with a broken hand, another with a damaged back. Parvati made the decision of handing over her powers to Ganesha after hearing the commotion of the war, and she did so. Once the boy gained the powers of Bhavani, he transformed into the Lord of Death Yama. Because of his overwhelming victory, the Shiva Ganas fled the battlefield in terror, declaring, "This boy has amazing powers. If we keep fighting like this, he will kill us all." As the gods saw the battle between Ganeshas and the Shiva Ganas, sage Narada advised Brahma, Vishnu and Indra to go to Lord Shiva immediately, since he might need their assistance. Everyone travelled to Mount Kailash to meet Shiva. after taking Narada's suggestion. Upon arriving, Lord Vishnu, Brahma, and Indra noticed that the Shiva Ganas were in terrible shape standing in front of Lord Shankar. All the Ganas were telling Lord Shankar, "O Lord, that boy appears to be the Lord of Death himself. His staff shook our bones with a single whack. He struck everywhere, here and there. Some of us suffered from shattered backs, while others had broken legs." It was unbelievable to Lord Shankar that a mere lad could harm his Ganas in this way. Brahma and Vishnu informed him that the Ganas were being truthful about this. At the height of his rage, Lord Shankar's eyes went red at hearing this, and he yelled, "Now I will have to kill this boy." Brahma soothed him by saying, "Calm down, O Lord. I want to try once. I will try to console that child." After assuming the appearance of a Brahmin, Brahma approached Ganesha and stated, "O boy, Lord Shiva has sent me." Before he could say anything further, Brahma fled in terror as Ganesha pulled out his beard. In response to Brahma's insult, Shiva yelled, "O Indra, take Kartikeya with you and slay that boy." Kartikeya led Indra's army of Devas to the palace's gate. When Parvati arrived on the veranda after hearing the army's ruckus, she found that Lord Shiva has now dispatched the whole army of Devas. She reflected, "I am sending my Shaktis to protect my son because Lord Shiva is mistreating my son." Then she summoned Kali and Durga and said, "Go and protect my son from Indra's army." Goddess Kali and Durga were busy guarding Ganesha while he fought the army of Devas. Goddess Durga was assisting Ganesha in killing the warriors, while Kali was swallowing all of the weapons that Kartikeya, Indra, and the other soldiers threw. The three of them were too strong for Indra to overcome. Indra was seated on Airavat when Ganesha finally struck him with his staff. Airavat fell, Indra too. In a panic, Indra fled the battlefield. He went back and told Shiva everything, after which Shiva decided to accompany Vishnu to slay this child. Lord Shiva, seated atop Nandi, and Vishnu, seated atop Garuda, arrived at the palace where Ganesha, Durga, and Kali were destroying the army of Devas. When Mother Kali saw Lord Shiva and Vishnu, she addressed Mother Durga saying, "O goddess, what should be done now that these two are here? Because we will no longer be able to fully protect this child." Then Goddess Durga states, "We should give all our powers to this boy so that he can fight these two. Until then, we will handle the army of these Devas." Then both the goddesses gave all their powers to Ganesha, and then they started fighting with the Devas. At this point, Vishnu and Ganesha began fighting. Vishnu was using his mace to block Ganesha's staff. But after a while of struggling, he realized that the only way to kill this boy was to be cunning. In his mind, Vishnuji addressed Shiva saying, "O Shiva, this boy can only be killed by deceit. You attack him from behind and I'll keep him busy in this combat." When Lord Shankar tried to attack Ganesha with his trident from behind, Ganesha turned back and struck Shiva's hands with his staff, causing the trident to fall out of his grasp. He then resumed fighting with Vishnu. Shiva then made an attempt to shoot an arrow at Ganesha using his bow, but Ganesha broke it with his staff. The plight of my Ganas was bound to happen if this boy had done this to me, Lord Shankar reflected. Lord Vishnu believed that he would now have to disarm Ganesha, so he sat on his Garuda and began fighting Ganesha in the sky. Just as Ganesha was ready to strike Vishnu with his staff, Lord Vishnu used his Sudarshana Chakra to break his staff into two. He signaled Lord Shiva about this. When an angry Lord Shankar received the signal, he used his trident to cut off the head of the gatekeeper. As a result, the boy's head flew into the air and his body collapsed onto the ground. All of the Devas and Shivaganas began to dance when they saw the dead Ganesh. Parvati was devastated to learn of this, but she was furious the next second and said, "No, this is not possible. I will exact revenge for Shiva's deceitful killing of my son. Oh, my Shaktis, appear before me. Go, wreak havoc, destroy everyone, and don't come back until everyone who was responsible for my son's death has been eliminated." All of the Shaktis vanished upon receiving the mother's command. All those Shaktis were either swallowing the gods or using their weapons to slay them. Fearful, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva fled from there and took refuge in a safe location. Reaching there, they asked each other what to do now. Vishnu said, "We will have to convince Parvati somehow." "How is this possible? The goddesses will kill us before we reach Mother Parvati," Indra responded. Narada then shows up there. Then, after consulting with all the gods pleaded Narada to help Parvati understand. Narada approached Parvati and said, "I know what you are going through, Mother. However, this is a request that you cease using your Shaktis, otherwise, the world will undoubtedly end if all the gods are slain. Please pardon them. I am aware that they killed your son through unjust means, but they are all begging for your forgiveness." Then Parvati responded, "Devarshi, this destruction will stop only when my son gets his life back and he gets the place of the first worshipable." "Okay, Mother, as you wish." Saying this, Narada approached Lord Shankar. After explaining Mother Parvati's condition, Lord Shiva addressed Lord Vishnu and says, "O Narayan, go in the northern direction and bring the head of the first creature you find." Along with the Shivaganas, Lord Vishnu headed north to find the head. They discovered a white elephant there first. Lord Vishnu used his Sudarshan Chakra to chop off the elephant's head as soon as he saw it. When the head was brought to Shankar, it was discovered to be Airavat's head. After that, Vishnu brought Airavat to life and joined its severed head to Ganesha's body, and Brahmaji brought Ganesha back to life using the mantras. Subsequently, all of them entered the palace with Ganesha to greet Parvati. Mother Gauri embraced her child, thrilled to see him alive. Then all the gods together blessed Ganesha and said, "We give a boon to this wonderful child that the people will worship him for eras. This child will do good to the people of the earth. It will be mandatory for the residents of earth to worship this child before the beginning of an auspicious task. This child will be the giver of knowledge and wisdom, and people will always offer delicious dishes to him." Lord Shankar then declares, "Our son will be very intelligent and strong. I appoint him as the commander of my Ganas as of right now. One of his names will be Ganesha, since he is the god of my Ganas, and another will be Ganapati, since he is their commander." All of the gods and goddesses lifted their hands in blessing and bestowing various boons unto Lord Ganesha after saying this. Thus, this is how Ganesha gained the status as the one to be worshipped first.